YouTube, Shalon here, back with another video. And this video is going to be about Zuri here. I hope you can see her. I'm gonna prop her up a little bit. This is baby girl Zuri, and she is 4 months old. She will be 5 months old on September the 6th. And so she was born April the 6th at 35 weeks. So she was a little premature. And that's kind of why I've been not making videos, because I'm not one of those people who can make videos and I got a lot going on. I just can't do it. I don't know how the other YouTubers do that. I am not one of those people. So I had a really rough, horrible pregnancy. And so I'm just now catching up with my life in general. But this is Zuri here. And she was born 3 pounds, 4 ounces, and 16 inches long. So she was a really small baby, which is one of the reasons I had an emergency induction at 35 weeks. And also at 35 weeks, she was measuring small, but her fluid was measuring really low. So they ended up doing an emergency C-section because she was not able to handle being in labor. So once they tried to induce me, her heart rate constantly dropped. So they eventually just had an emergency C-section on April the 6th. So I got induced. They started the induction April 5th at 8 p.m. And I ended up having the C-section the following day at 12 p.m. And that's when she came. And so she ended up going to the NICU for 24 days. So I believe she got out of NICU April the 29th. That's when she graduated. So it has been a rough process, but I'm gonna just give you our little journey the last couple of months since she's been out of NICU and also in NICU. I'm gonna put her down because she's gonna lay down for a second, but I did want to initially show her to you. There she is. I hope I am getting you in the camera. Say hi, everyone. You look so cute. This is one of her hospital blankets, and we still swaddle her in it. And I'm going to talk about that later. So I'll be right back. Let me lay her down so she can take a nap, and we will discuss everything. All right, I'm back, everybody. So I had to put Zuri down so she could go to sleep, or she was going to be really irritated. So I'm going to talk about the journey, Zuri's journey, the last couple of months. It was kind of shaky. So I'm going to start with when she came out of the NICU. So again, she was in NICU for 24 days. And when she came home, I had to feed her a certain way. I had to hold the bottle a certain way. So I would feed her, and then I would have to move the bottle to the side so she can be able to breathe in between drinking. So when she came home, she didn't know how to pace her drinking. So every time we would feed her, we would have to feed her. And then after, I think about 3 or 4 sips, move the bottle to the side so she could catch her breath. So feedings lasted a long time. Usually the first 3 weeks, each feeding was about an hour long. And not only that, we had to burp her throughout the feedings. Like, we didn't wait to the end. It would just be sit her up and burp her every couple of minutes, really. And that's because her digestive system was really underdeveloped. So she had a lot of reflux, and she would spit up so much if we didn't do that. And then even when we would follow those steps, she still would spit up quite a bit. And when she would spit up, it would just be so crazy because it would come out of her nose. She would sometimes choke on it. It was just really rough. And we also had to, anytime she would eat, we would always have to kind of prop her up. So we would hold her up, or we would put her in like a little bouncer chair, or whatever you call those little chairs for babies. But we would have to sit her up for about an hour after she would eat, just to reduce the amount of reflux or discomfort that she would have. Zuri the first month, she was very, very colicky. And whenever we would feed her, she would just seem like she was in so much pain and discomfort. So what we would do was we would do those steps with feeding her, making sure we burp her and prop her up after feedings. And sometimes we would have to lay her down after feedings if she's still in a lot of discomfort, and kind of do bicycles with her legs, like when you lay them on their back and just move their legs like they're on a bicycle. So that's what we did with Zuri. And she still spit up quite a bit, so we always had to have, we didn't even use a regular burp cloth. We had anytime it was time to burp her, we literally had a big giant towel around everything. So that's pretty much what the first month was really about, her learning how to eat, how to pace herself while eating, getting comfortable with just feeding her and her routine. We also had to give her like gripe water and Mylicon to kind of soothe her stomach, because again, she just always had an upset stomach. She was very irritable all the time. And my first daughter was just the complete opposite. She was just a really peaceful, happy, calm baby. So when Zuri was born, it was the complete opposite, and she was so delicate because she was so small. So that first month, when she was born, she was 3 pounds 4 ounces. When she got out of the NICU, I think she was 4 pounds, either 4 pounds 4 ounces or 4 pounds 6 ounces. So that first month, when she got out of the NICU, I think she weighed, at the end of the month, it was about 5 pounds. So she did a lot of spitting up, but she was also still growing, which is a good thing. So yeah. Another thing that we did was, if you're familiar with the NICU, you have to have vitamins for them. They recommend the polyvisol, I think that's what it's called. And every time she would drink that, she would just vomit really bad. So I had to stop giving her that. But as she got older, she was able to digest it better. So I'm able to give her vitamin. I don't use the polyvisol anymore. I use a different one. But she's able to kind of hold it down now. The beginning, she would just throw it up, and it would be a lot of it, including the milk. So that was just another little milestone we had to cross. The second month was very similar to the first month, very colicky. We no longer needed to pace her in between eating, so she could drink a bottle straight, and we didn't have to hold the bottle to the side. But let me grab a bottle. I did bring a bottle over here. So when she first got out of NICU, she drank about 40 to 80 milliliters. So between here and here. So I guess you could say between 1 and 3 ounces, just depending on how she felt when she first got out. And then like a week after, she moved up to 80 milliliters mostly. So about 3 ounces. And she only drinks breast milk. When she got out of the NICU, they did want me to put her on the NeoSure. So it's a formula for premature babies, but she would throw up so much and spit up so much with that I just stopped. She also didn't even like it. So I only do breast milk. This is breast milk in here. And so by the second month, she was still very, very, very colicky. I'm talking about constant irritation, constant crying, and it was so difficult to make her comfortable. And we would just follow our same routine. I did take her to the doctor to make sure it was nothing else serious, but it was really her just having colic and an underdeveloped digestive system. So I believe in the second month what did she weigh in the second month? I don't even remember. But in the second month, she drank about 3.5 to 3.5 ounces each bottle. She just was a very uncomfortable, whiny baby. The milestones that I can definitely say she hit in that second month, I noticed her eyes became more developed. A lot of times you could tell her eyes were not as developed because they will roam sometimes. But in the second month, they were fine in the second month. And what else? Let me see. I wrote down some things so I wouldn't forget. She was more awake in the second month. That first month, all she did was sleep. Even while she was eating, like we never would see her eyes open. Second month, she was up a lot more. Another thing I want to mention is Zuri will only sleep, for the most part, comfortably sleep when she is swaddled. If she's not swaddled, she will not stay asleep. It's like, I don't know what it is. She has to be swaddled. And I'm talking about crazy jacket swaddled, like tight, really tight. And she likes that, so we try to keep her swaddled. That's why when I had her up, I had her swaddled. Let's see. So another thing about Zuri is that she didn't like to be held. I don't know if I just mentioned this since I'm doing quite a bit of talking, but she did not like, it seemed like she would be uncomfortable with us touching her and holding her. And I was really concerned about that because my first daughter was not like that. But again, that relates back to her colic and being very irritable. And that's pretty much how the second month went. The third month, I noticed that her colicky ways have improved. Now, she's still irritable, but not as much. Then we also noticed that she went up to about 4 ounces of milk. So that's like at the top right here, which is kind of what she still drinks now. She'll usually go between 4 and 4 ounces of milk. But as far as irritability with eating, it has improved. She still cries, but she's okay with us holding her now. She's okay with us touching her. And we still have to prop her up after eating. She does not like to be laid down, but she improved quite a bit in the third month. The fourth month, which is right now, she really improved. Most times when we feed her, she doesn't cry, but there are moments where she will cry, and she will have crying spells that we do not know what to do. We just try everything. So she has improved a lot. She knows she can pretty much hold her head up. She can follow voices, sounds, people, light. She can stand up really strong for long periods of time. She is cooing now. She started cooing about 2 weeks ago. And what else? Let me see. What else? She still loves to be swaddled. And let me see what else here. As far as spitting up, oh, that's another thing. She is not spitting up as crazy anymore. She spits up, but we don't have to have like a big towel around her. We just keep the bib on her in like a small burp cloth. So that's improved tremendously. And right now she just went to the doctor last week. She was 9 pounds 9 ounces and 22 inches long. So that's a big jump from 3 pounds 4 ounces 16 inches long. So she is growing, but she is also still very small for a baby going on 5 months. So yeah, she is doing really well, but she may end up needing one of those like cranial helmets. The back, I had her go to see the specialist yesterday, and the back of her head is flat. So we will be following up with them again next week, and then I'll give you an update on how that goes. But so far, it has been really the hardest part about this is the frequent crying that I'm just not used to. And it can drive you crazy. I'm just so happy that that has improved, because you just feel horrible when your baby is crying and you just don't know how to console them. You know that they're in discomfort or pain and you just don't know what to do. So I'm glad that we're kind of getting past that phase, and I'm hoping by 5 months that would just be something in the past. So that's pretty much our journey. I guess I can make another video about my pregnancy journey, which was that's a whole different story. But so far, that's what's going on with Zuri. And I'm going to give you a quick look at her while she's sleeping. So be on the lookout for the next video. I don't know what it's going to be about yet. Probably an update on Zuri. And then I'm going to go through my pregnancy journey, which may help some people who have dealt with hyperemesis. So give me a second here. I'm going to bring Zuri back on. There she is. I want to wake her up and talk loud. She done her feet bust out. She's growing out of this blanket. But we have multiple swaddles that I can show you in another video. I just put the blanket on her today.